sugar cane will be so sweet and pure. It's nature's gift to you and me.
Sugar has been used and enjoyed for centuries. It was first mentioned in the year 325 BC in India, and it was introduced into the Western world in the 13th century. Sugar was brought to America by Christopher Columbus in 1493. By the 1820s, planters in the infant Republic of Texas were growing sugar cane along the Gulf Coast, where the tall stalks would grow up to 12 feet or more. By the 1830s, thousands of immigrants were swarming into Texas. One was a young man from Rhode Island named Samuel May Williams, who became secretary to Stephen F. Austin. Williams raised money to support the war effort against Mexico, and he established Texas' first bank in Galveston, a city he helped to found and the location of his first Texas home. Today, the restored homestead is the second oldest building in Galveston. As partial payment for his services to Stephen F. Austin, Williams was granted land about 20 miles southwest of what is now Houston. There, in 1840, on what became known as his Oakland Plantation, Williams planted sugarcane. Legend has it that General Santa Anna of the Mexican Army vowed to burn the Williams plantation to the ground. And after the Battle of the Alamo, on his way to defeat at San Jacinto, Santa Anna mistakenly identified the Stafford sugar plantation as the Williams plantation and burned the wrong mill to ashes. No, the Williams Sugar Mill, which officially began in 1843, was not destroyed. It was to become the Imperial Sugar Company and would one day hold the distinction of being the oldest business in the great state of Texas. In 1853, the Williams plantation was sold to Benjamin Franklin Perry, who with his partner, W.J. Kyle, renamed the plantation Sugarland. In 1875, ownership changed again, and the business was sold to Colonel Edward H. Cunningham of San Antonio. At the turn of the century, the Cunningham Sugar Refinery was one of the largest in the United States. And the expanding sugarcane industry had reached all the way to the Rio Grande Valley, where a sugar mill was built in 1904. I.H. Kempner and W.T. Eldridge became partners and purchased the Cunningham Sugar Company and related properties in 1907. Mr. Kempner renamed it Imperial Sugar Company, after the splendid Imperial Hotel in New York City. Kempner's brother Daniel became the company's first president, and members of the Kempner family still guide the company today, as they have for more than 75 years. By the late 1920s, it had become unprofitable to grow sugarcane in Texas. And as a result, Imperial began to import large amounts of raw sugar from other countries. During the Depression of the late 20s, the sugarcane industry in the Rio Grande Valley droned to a halt because of the economic conditions after World War I. But 50 years later, the picture changed. And once again, the planting of sugarcane and raw sugar production began in the Rio Grande Valley. Today in South Texas, along the Rio Grande River, crops of sugarcane grow tall and green. And the mill processes more than 1 million tons of cane each year. The sugarcane requires 40 to 50 inches of water annually, which is supplied by rainfall and irrigation from the Rio Grande River. Sugarcane grows best when the weather is sunny and hot and the ground is moist. It matures in about 12 months and is sweetest in the winter. Juice samples are examined to determine when a field is ready for harvest. Before harvesting begins, fields are burned. A special diesel torch starts the burn, which is carried out according to strict environmental controls. And, of course, safety is a constant consideration. Stalk leaves have no sugar or economic value, and burning the field makes it easier to harvest. A mechanical harvester cuts off the tops of the stalks, and blades at ground level cut the cane and gather it onto a moving conveyor. Inside the harvester, the cane is cut into short pieces and dropped into a cane box. When one is full, it is replaced by another. full cane boxes are then taken to a transfer point and loaded onto flatbed trucks. Each truck brings 2 boxes or 20 tons of sugar cane to the mill. And the boxes mechanically slide onto an inverter. All 10 tons of cane in each box are dumped onto a conveyor and moved toward the crushers. Most of the soil is washed from the stalks. After it is clarified and boiled, molasses is removed and a conveyor moves it to the sugar warehouse, which can hold 70,000 tons of raw sugar. The raw sugar is then transported by railroad cars to Imperial's refinery in Sugar Land, some 350 miles away. In addition to the raw sugar that is grown in Texas, raw sugar from other states, as well as from outside the United States, is brought to Imperial's raw sugar terminal at the port of Galveston. Arriving from Hawaii, Florida, Louisiana, and sugarcane growing countries of the free world, the raw sugar is scooped out of the ship by large gantry cranes and dumped into great hoppers on the dock. A steady stream of raw sugar feeds onto conveyors that carry it to the top of a huge warehouse where it is automatically weighed and poured into piles. The piles soon grow into mountains. This warehouse, larger than a football field, holds 60 million pounds of raw sugar. Even before the warehouse is full, more conveyors move the raw sugar out and into boxcars to be carried 60 miles by rail from Galveston to Sugar Land, the headquarters of Imperial's refining operations. Here the raw sugar is unloaded into another giant warehouse which can hold 40 million pounds of raw sugar. Both the warehouse in Galveston and this one in Sugar Land are seldom full and never empty because of the continual movement of raw sugar from ship to shore to train to refinery. In Imperial's laboratory, samples of raw sugar are analyzed to determine quality and the extent of refining needed to transform the raw sugar into sparkling, pure crystals. From the warehouse, the raw sugar is dropped through hoppers under the warehouse onto conveyors to begin the long journey through the refinery. The raw sugar is lifted 7 stories to the top of the melt house, where it is automatically weighed. The raw sugar drops into a mingler and is mixed with warm syrup and stirred into a thick consistency. The soft mass is dropped into centrifugal machines where the sugar is washed and spun at 1,200 revolutions per minute to spin off impurities. Then the sugar crystals are poured into tanks called melters, where they are mixed with other sugar syrups and water, then heated and dissolved into a liquid. The liquid is pumped into clarification tanks, where additional impurities are removed. Then the liquid is pumped through a series of pressure filters. There, the liquid, sometimes called sugar liquor, is forced through a series of woven cloth filters. Each phase of the filtration process is carefully monitored and recorded by computer-assisted control systems. The sugar liquid is then piped to the top of this 8-story building. The char house contains storage tanks which supply 30 towering filters. Decolorization of the sugar liquid occurs in the downward flow through these charcoal filters, which also removes soluble materials. When this phase of the process is complete, the liquid is drawn from the char house and almost completely decolorized. Final decolorization takes place in the 4-story granular carbon house located beside the char house. The remaining color is removed in the downward flow through a series of 40-foot-tall filters containing granular carbon that can process over 1/2 million gallons of sugar liquid per day. When the sugar liquid leaves these filters, it is pure and crystal clear. Here, the evaporators concentrate the sugar liquid by boiling off excess water. The resulting vapors are recompressed, creating reusable heat energy. This energy-saving process is called mechanical vapor recompression. Once the purified sugar liquid has been sent through the evaporators, the resulting thick concentrated liquid is piped to the pan house, where in vacuum pans it is seeded with powdered sugar to form tiny crystals. The vacuum in the pans permits the sugar to boil at 160 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. This relatively low temperature prevents the crystals from caramelizing or turning brown. And as the tiny crystals grow, more of the liquid is added until the pan is full. Many years of experience are required to determine exactly when the crystals are of the correct size and form. When the vacuum pans are full and the desired degree of crystallization has been reached, it is called a strike of sugar and is quickly discharged into a large mixer. The crystals and sugar syrup are gently agitated and then fed into centrifugal machines. Spinning at 1,200 revolutions per minute, the sugar syrup is separated from the moist white sugar crystals, which are left on the inside of the centrifugal machines. These moist crystals are conveyed to rotating cylinders called granulators for drying. The heated air circulated through the cylinders dries the sugar crystals as they are gently tumbled. The dry, white, pure cane sugar is then sifted through vibrating screens to ensure uniform grain size. Uniformity of grain size is important to achieve the consistent taste and texture of one cake or thousands of cakes. The laboratory again carefully checks to be sure that every spoonful, cupful, or carload of imperial sugar is just like every other. To the thousands of visitors to Imperial each year, the packaging department is the most intriguing. Here, each day, nearly 2 million pounds of sugar are packaged for grocery stores throughout Texas and the Southwest. Imperial's packaging department depends on its skilled employees, precise timing, and equipment that is controlled by solid-state computer systems. The sophisticated packaging equipment includes delicate, high-speed machines that can fill up to 2,500 individual sugar packets per minute, to bulk packaging equipment that fills and seals 100-pound bags of granulated sugar. 1-pound cartons of powdered and brown sugar travel through a maze of modern packaging equipment that shakes and packs the sugar and automatically weighs each carton for proper content before being sealed and placed into shipping containers. Imperial's highly efficient form, fill, and seal machines are used for 2-pound reclosable packages of powdered sugar. The machine forms a bag, fills it with 2 pounds of fluffy white sugar, and then seals the top, all in one operation. In the brown sugar room, 2-pound reclosable polybags of moist brown sugar are also packaged in fully automatic machines. An automatic bundler collates bags of 2-pound granulated packages into groups of 30, then seals the bundle for shipping. Most of the sugar that is boxed, packaged, and baled is sent to this giant warehouse. It holds more than 20 million pounds of packaged sugar, which is shipped to grocers and industrial users almost as soon as it's stacked. Imperial's maintenance program involves periodic checkups on all machinery, conveyors, pumps, electrical systems, and numerous other pieces of equipment within Imperial's refinery. The maintenance crew works around the clock, performing emergency repairs, handling construction work, and installing new or replacement equipment in the refinery. Imperial generates all of the steam used in the refining process and can co-generate up to 6,000 kilowatt hours of electricity with its 3 turbo generators. These generators produce all of the electricity the company needs, and at times they even co-generate with the public utility. Of the millions of pounds of pure cane sugar produced at Sugarland each day, much of it leaves the plant by truck or in bulk shipments, bound for industrial sugar users, such as bakers and other food processors. Large trucks and plastic-coated railroad cars are specially designed for their granulated sugar cargo. Some of the plant's refined sugar goes out as liquid sugar, a mixture of pure cane sugar and pure artesian water. Imperial maintains a fleet of stainless steel tank trucks, which are used only for liquid sugar. And they have a complete maintenance facility to service these trucks, maintain them in top working order, and ensure their cleanliness. Imperial's distribution center in Arlington serves industrial customers in North Texas and surrounding states. The center is supplied primarily by rail car with both liquid and dry granulated sugars produced at Sugarland. Inside the center, liquid sugar is held in large storage tanks that are ventilated using ultraviolet sanitized air, A temperature of 90 degrees Fahrenheit is maintained throughout the storage areas. Granulated sugar is handled through a special system, including a stainless steel dissolving tank, where the granulated sugar is converted to liquid sugar. Liquid sugars processed through the blending system are automatically weighed and pasteurized to meet all of Imperial's strict quality requirements. In the center's laboratory, samples are examined to ensure correct density, pH, and bacteriological condition. Deliveries are made in these stainless steel vehicles, specifically designed for handling liquid sweeteners. Before delivery, they are thoroughly washed and sanitized. The byproduct of the cane sugar refining process is blackstrap molasses. In 1972, Imperial created a new product called Molasses Protein Supplement. MPS is a balanced blend of blackstrap molasses and other important nutritive ingredients. When used as a feed supplement, MPS provides improved nutrition for beef and dairy cattle. Now that we've seen how Imperial sugar is refined, packaged, and distributed to customers across the country as sparkling pure cane crystals, let's focus on the reasons that there is no substitute for sugar. Sugar is a carbohydrate created by nature. Carbohydrates are essential nutrients to our bodies because they supply us with energy. Sugar is a pure, safe, and natural food. It is not man-made with chemicals. It comes from nature. A package of sugar bears no warning label, the way artificial sweetener packages do. Not only is sugar a natural food, but it contains only 16 calories per teaspoon. Sugar tastes good. It makes the other necessary and nutritious foods we eat taste better. And it makes holidays and special moments even more memorable. Most often we think of sugar in its refined state, flowing from a package. But sugar is also found in all sorts of garden vegetables and fresh fruit. The body uses all sugars, refined or in foods, in exactly the same way to supply energy. Sugar acts as a preservative. It contributes bulk and texture to some foods and serves as a vital ingredient in the preparation and shelf life of home canned goods. Contrary to popular belief, sugar does not make people fat. Weight gain occurs when more calories are consumed than the body burns up. Eating too much food, or not getting adequate physical exercise, or both, can contribute added pounds. But ounce for ounce, sugar contributes less than half as many calories as do fats. 1 ounce of fat provides 255 calories, while the same amount of sugar provides only 113 calories. In recent years, sugar has been unfairly labeled as a contributor to certain health conditions. However, most of the comments against sugar are the result of misinformation and exaggeration. Sugar is a safe, natural food and an important part of everyday living. Our bodies need sugar for energy, and we're fortunate to have it in so many sources that taste so good. The city called Sugar Land has grown right along with the progress of its principal industry, Imperial. And it has become home to generations of the company's employees. As the oldest company in the state, Imperial and its people are important spokes in the economic wheel of Texas, providing most of the refined sugar bought by Texans. Quality and service are always foremost in the minds of the people at Imperial, who produce about 4 million pounds of refined cane sugar every day. In 1948, an expansion program was begun at the refinery. Since that time, the company has been almost completely rebuilt. Just like the changing skyline of neighboring Houston, Imperial's ongoing plan of modernization never stops. Through years of experience and pride in their product, Imperial employees have built and maintained the tradition of quality that is a constant assurance to the buyers who insist on the Imperial brand. This attitude is a reflection of Imperial's leadership that places safety, security, and equity alongside the Imperial standards of quality, service, and reliability. Together, they have built a tradition in the true spirit of free enterprise at work. The company indeed has a reputation that is unsurpassed. More than 600 employees work continually, year in and year out, to uphold that reputation. Because customers are depending on the sterling quality of Imperial pure cane sugar every day, just as they always have.